You're watching Politics Today live on Channels Television. Glad to have you back. Well, before we took a moment there, we were discussing the National Assembly's budget for the year 2017, the appropriation 125 billion naira, and of course, how effective will that amount be towards helping the nation's lawmakers do their jobs effectively. Well, we've been talking to Honorable Razak Namdas, who is the Chairman House Committee on Media and Publicity, and an economist, Mr. Bismarck Rewane, who is joining us via Skype here in Lagos. Well, Mr. Rewane was making a point, but then I'll return to him in a moment. There's a question on the minds of many Nigerians, and that's the amount going to the National Assembly's management, the Senate and the House of Representatives. That's aside from other appropriations. Well, I have a question here. 18,000 naira minimum wage for the average Nigerian, and of course the labor is asking for 52,000 naira. Now legislative aids getting 9 billion naira as their allocation. Now how many legislative aids do we have in the first place, Honorable Namdas?
Yes, we have close to 3,000 legislative aids in the National Assembly. But I think before I continue with that, let me make a few remarks on the percentage of the National Assembly. There has never been any time that the National Assembly takes over 25% of the national budget. I can tell you that the 150 billion that we used to enjoy represents 2% of the budget. And as I can speak, right now the 125 billion is about less than 2% of the national budget. So that should be taken into account. But for the legislative aids, we have about 3,000 legislative aids in the National Assembly. And we have management in place. We also have the National Public Complaints Service Commission. We have the National Assembly Service Commission, sorry. We also have Nigerian Institute of Legislative Studies. These are all institutions that are within the National Assembly. And there is a simple mistake that people make, that about 469 people are the ones that share the 125 billion. This is not true. This is why we have to bring out the details for Nigerians to see that it is not true that it belongs to only the members of the National Assembly. We have civil servants that are over 5,000 in the National Assembly that works and takes their pay, and they all cater for from this same budget. So I think it is not fair to say that the entire money is only for 469 people. And again, just like Rewane also mentioned, I agree with him that we have to be productive. But the truth is that if you go to US, they pass not more than 10 laws in a year. Here, people expect us to churn out number of laws, just like say we are constructing culverts. I think that is not true. It's not about how many number of laws that you put in place, but how effective, efficient laws are you able to put in place that can encourage good governance, which is very important. But I agree with him that we have to, productivity is key. But that is not to say that we must be multiplying laws on a daily basis just for us to justify 125 billion. I think that is just a take that I have to make on that.
Well, let me come back to Mr. Rewane. You were making a point, and of course you went into the issue of, well, infrastructure and things like that. That as far as the nation's economy is concerned. But of course, looking at it from the point of view of the National Assembly, is this enough to, do you think what they take is enough to help them do the work they are supposed to do as far as the job of lawmaking is concerned?
I think it's adequate, and I haven't done any dimensioning, but the reality is, I want to respond to the honorable member's comments about the United States passing 10 or 20 laws. The truth is that the United States as a government has been a mature democracy that has been around for almost 300 years. Nigeria is a democracy that is just emerging. Nigeria, to all intents and purposes, more or less is a lawless society where there's anarchy. So the need to legislate and pass laws more often and more frequently than a more mature democracy doesn't have to be, cannot be overemphasized. But again, he agreed with me on the question of productivity. I think that we need to fund the National Assembly properly. They need to do some research, because you cannot make laws without understanding the environment in which you're operating, and so that the information has to be there. Luckily, we have some National Assembly members now who are professionals, who are properly trained, and they've been governors before, so they know what they're doing. But in terms of fiscal responsibility, that is a question that they now need to justify their existence by actually legislating as much as possible, and also carrying out the oversight function, and also improving their image, because the National Assembly has a very solid reputation as far as Nigerians are concerned, and it's time to actually manage and repair that reputation, because I think they're being given inadvertently, they are actually creating a wrong and negative image, which does not help this country, because every country has lawmakers and they need to be respected and have a good reputation.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Rwanda. Now, Honorable Namdas, quickly, your capital expenditure goes mainly into debt servicing. That's about over 2 billion naira. Now, how can you explain this?
I think it's not true that it's only on debt servicing. We also procure vehicles in the National Assembly. This is also a capital project that we have to provide every member so that we can be able to effectively perform our oversight functions. But I can tell you, as is it, even as I talk to you, this is 2 years into my being a member of National Assembly, and yet I have not been given a vehicle. And each time we want to procure vehicles, it is just people will tell us that we are not supposed to own vehicles, even when local government chairmen can buy their own vehicles, even when House of Assembly members have their own vehicles, even commissioners at the state level have their vehicles, ministers have chains of vehicles, but people will tell us that we don't require. But it's a capital aspect of it, and it is true. Just like Rewind has just said there, we will require to be effective, and for us to be effective, we will need the tools to work with, so that you will have the opportunity to also say, okay, we don't have any other excuse at all. I think it is good that we are given the opportunity to do the job rightly. For example, when this budget was about to be passed, for the first time we introduced what was called public hearing, where we invited people who are credible, because we don't have monopoly of wisdom. We need experts in this area to give us advice, and we included all the opinions that were...
Well, Honorable Namdas, I wish I could have, entertained your explanation much longer. Unfortunately, time has caught up with us, and we have to go now. And so it's Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I've been talking to the Chairman, House Committee on Media and Publicity, Honorable Razak Namdas, and the renowned economist, CEO, Financial Derivatives, Mr. Bismarck Rawane. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And that's all on Politics Today for today. I'm Charles Eruka. Same time on Sunday, 8 o'clock. Join us again.